What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with the Universal Monsters. So today we're looking at Leonardo as the creature from the Black Lagoon and Raphael as the Wolfman. So these are pretty cool, continuing on the line with the crossover between TMNT and the Universal Monsters. I've enjoyed the ones in the past, and I'm kind of more excited about these just because they're characters I like more, especially like the creature of the Black Lagoon is always my favorite Universal Monster character. So we have Leonardo just as that, which just with this picture on the front looks crazy, just with the big lips. It always looks kind of silly, and we'll see that on the figure, but it's cool. It has the Leonardo headband, so it just looks like the creature from the Black Lagoon. And then on the back with the pulp comic coming to display there with all the different pictures and wording going on to kind of creep you out about the creature. So very good recreation of like scenes from the movie. So if we open up, we have the picture there, and then the actual figure itself, and of course all the accessories it's going to come with. So that just looks really cool. I'm excited to check this figure out in hand. And then of course we also have Raphael as the Wolfman, which a nice picture there again with the band going around the eyes for Raphael. And on the back we have the pulp comic once again with all the different pictures showing all the accessories that it'll come with as well. And if we open up, we have the picture there on the side, and then the figure itself again with all those accessories around it that we can check out. So it looks pretty cool overall, so I'm excited for this one as well, just not as much as the creature, just because I love the creature from the Black Lagoon so much. So let me go and get these open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Leonardo as the creature from the Black Lagoon, also known as the Creature or Gillman, and he's from the 1954 Creature from the Black Lagoon movie, and he's the last surviving member of a race of amphibious humanoids that dwell in the lagoon in an unexplored area of the Amazon rainforest. And overall, this looks pretty cool. The Creature from the Black Lagoon has always been one of my favorite Universal monsters, like going back to when I was a kid. So having a turtle figure in this with the crossover is pretty cool for Leonardo. The only thing that would make it cooler for me is if it was Donatello, since Donatello's my favorite, so just have my two favorites crossover would be awesome. But overall, looks pretty cool here. So of course we have the Donatello, and it's sort of like turtle design, especially in the head. You know, it doesn't specifically look turtle-like, but it does have the band going around the head with the blue sword tied up in the back and coming around to the side. Of course, he does have the turtle shell design on the back, which I like this, how it's got sort of like the little fin design going down here that he's got all over his body, that design, but it's going down the center of the shell. And then it's all the segmented pieces with all sorts of fossilized versions of like trilobites and stuff all around there, which is pretty cool. And then of course over the top he has this netting with some hooks and bobbers and stuff. And of course, carrying over from the turtles, they do have their elbow pads and knee pads, so he's got those on there, as well as like bands there at his wrist. And then the rest of it just pretty much looks like the creature from the Black Lagoon. So the scaly green skin, that's all the segmented parts. So we get to the three-fingered hands of the turtles mixed in with it, so we have the webbed sort of hands there, which is pretty cool. I like the design, just how they look there with all like the weird designs on the inside, little like suction cup designs. And of course scaling down the front of his chest for the shell, and then down to legs as well, all the way to their two-toed feet. But I like how he's got the long claws there and even some webbing in between, and all the little fins and stuff going all the way around, all the way back up till we have the gills on the side of his head. So overall, design-wise, I think this looks really cool. This is definitely one of my favorites, not only just because it's the creature from the Black Lagoon, but just because I think design-wise it kind of carries out and sort of incorporates a lot of that creature, just threw in some turtle stuff. And overall, I think it looks really cool. But for Moons, get the head that'll twist around. Maybe hard with all the gills and then the bandana stuff, but can at least twist side to side and can look down that far and then up that far. So pretty decent movements there in the head. The shoulders do come up pretty close to 90. Of course, their neck, because the shoulders are always hard to get up, can get up to 90. They're close, and then rotate around. But with that shell design in the back, it's hard to really get it to rotate all the way around, but it does there. And then we get that double elbow joint design that can sort of bend up at least that far, and there is rotation in that joint. And then the wrist will twist around and has the hinge back and forth. Of course, doesn't really hinge too much, but it does hinge there. And then we go to the ab crunch, which I don't really feel, especially with the turtle shell design, don't really get much of anything and very little twisting, so it's probably just at like a waist design. Then the hips can come up if you force it at least that far, so probably about 45 and out to the side there. We do get a thigh twist as well, so a little bit back and forth. And then we get the double knee joint that can bend up. It's going to be kind of hard, especially when the gills start hitting each other, but can at least go that far. And there is some rotation in there as well. And then down to the foot, we do get that flexing back and forth and twist side to side. So the pretty standard NECA movements, so nothing too surprising. So not bad range, but also not the best. But for accessories, we do get a number of hands. So we have a set of hands that have more of the open hands. So not too much different between what he's got now, just not open as wide, it seems like. So we have those hands. And then we do have hands that have some grip. So we probably will switch these out so we can give him some weapons. So we'll switch these hands out. And with those grip hands, we can give him some weapons of harpoon spears that are kind of manufactured into swords here. So we have just the handle. Of course, I like how it's got like the fishing design, so the piece of wood with the ropes all wrapped up around it. We get the little handguard design all the way up to the spear points there, and I like how it is though, all made out of wood. That's cool. And then this one has a piranha stuck on it, so he's like he speared a piranha, so that's cool. So let's go and put these in his hands. So there he's got the two weapons to represent Leonardo's sword, so that is really cool. And I'm sure you could probably try to figure out how to store him on the back. Like there's no spots, but you'd probably just get it under this webbing and sort of store him on his back there. But like I said, it's not designed for that, and especially this one with the fish on it, it's going to be more difficult. But it's cool that he does have the weapons there. We do also get some little accessories to go around on him. We won't be using them because they're going to get lost easily, but we do get a little package here that has some extra hooks and bobbers and strings and stuff that you can sort of attach onto the netting that's on them. But like I said, with them being so small and stuff, they'll fall off easily, and we don't want to lose those. Kind of weird. We do also get a turtle thrown in here, so we have this little turtle design, so it's pretty cool. Just be able to add another NECA creature to our stuff with all the different turtles and stuff we've got in the past. So just another turtle there. And then finally, we do get a piece of a fossilized bone that in the movies was found a part of the creature from the Black Lagoon, like family or whatever. So that's what inspired people to go on the journey to try and find more bones, but they end up finding Gillman himself. So we have this that you can actually put around the wrist, and it can become, you know, like a little like claw weapon that's on their hands. So you could try and like put that on this hand or whatever to, you know, be like an extra claw weapon, which I think is pretty cool that they took a bone like that. That's a part of the movie, and you know, we've had other bone hand designs like that with other figures of the Gillman. So it's cool they included that, but as a weapon this time. So really cool for this creature from the Black Lagoon, Leonardo overall. Of course, we've had another version so far of Leonardo and a Universal monster with Igor. So we have this version. So I definitely like the creature from the Black Lagoon version. I think it looks so much better, especially compared to this Igor design, which has a lot of cool and uniqueness stuff to it, just not a character design I care too much for. So definitely happy to get Leonardo as the Gillman now, because definitely one of my favorites, and I think this figure looks really good. And then we have Raphael as the Wolfman, which in the Wolfman movie, we see that Larry Talbot gets attacked by a wolf and is bitten, and a gypsy reveals that the wolf was her son, who has been a werewolf for many years and has now passed on the curse of lycanthropy onto Larry, and Larry now transforms into a werewolf every night. So we have Raphael as the Wolfman, which looks pretty cool, again, incorporating the designs of the turtles as well as the Universal monster character, so the Wolfman in this case. So the face definitely looks like the Wolfman. He's got the fur all over his face, the crazy eyes as he's transformed, the fangs there in his mouth now, and of course still has like the turtle mouth and the red bandana going around his head to be Raphael there. And then he's got, I like how the fur all over his body, so anywhere you see what would be skin and stuff, it's now got all fur covering him, and then has the same outfit design as the Wolfman. So like from other figures and pictures and stuff you've seen, he has this green shirt on that's all ripped up and torn from transforming, and then same with the pants that are all ripped up, and then he's got the claw-like hands, so of course the three fingers of the Ninja Turtles, now with claws and of course some fur on them, as well as the toes. But I like how they now have like the haunches or whatever they call it, where the feet kind of go up at an angle there with the long toenails on their two toes, and then incorporating the turtles, of course, have the elbows and knee pads, and then the turtle shell on the back as well, which I like how the turtle shell looks like it's got fur all over it as well, which is crazy. And some of the ripped up shirt, of course, has the belt going around the waist here that has the holsters for the sides and stuff. And then I like how they incorporate and hide little stuff. So like on the creature from the Black Lagoon, you had the trilobites and had like the fossilized hand design on there as well. But this one has the pentagram on the back, so the little star design there, which we'll see in the weapons as well. So overall, I love the little incorporations and stuff. Like I said, they go into so much detail with these figures to add as much little details as they can. It's not just, you know, the simple basic thing. They do as much as they can to add all the little details between both characters. But for movements, we get the head that'll twist around, maybe a little bit difficult with that tie there, but can twist all the way around and look down that far and up that far. So decent movements up and down. The shoulders do come up, again, always hard with NECA, close to 90 there, and rotate all the way around. We get the double elbow joint once again that can bend up at least that far with the rotations in it. And then the wrist will twist all the way around and hinge back and forth. Then we go to the crunch. If there is a name of crunch, yeah, it doesn't really feel about the same. It's just a little bit back and forth and a little bit of twisting. Now his feels about like at the waist there, so like right behind the belt design it seems. So they designed him a little different. Then the hips can come up at least that far, not bad, and out to the side. There's some thigh twist there, and the double knee joint that can bend up there, and then of course should have some rotation in as well. And then we go down to the different joint we have where I said it's kind of like the ankle joint, but at the angle there. And of course this joint was really hard. heated it up and got it loosened, but it's kind of stiffened up again. But it should be able to flex back and forth. It just, yeah, it doesn't seem to flex too much and can twist side to side. And then down at the actual like ankle, it can hinge back and forth and twist side to side. And then even has the toe joint on the end, which doesn't really do too much. It is there, and you can try and get it more on the toes, but I have a lot of issue getting it to stand other than the way it is there. So it has all the joints there, but it's NECA. Like, we heated it up, got them all loose and moved and stuff, but now they're super hard to move again. But overall, it functions decently, has pretty much the same movement, so no real issues with it. But for accessories, we do get an additional head. So we have, well, I'd say more of a calm head, maybe a calm down, not as evil. I like how his head's like more smooth, like the fur's just more smooth around it. Mouth's not open as wide, but you still have the fang designs and the yellow eyes, so still looks pretty cool overall for him. So that's just a different head option. We get additional hands as well. So we get a set of fist hands, so fist if you don't want to have open hands, and then we get a set of grip hands as well, which will switch out for his weapon. So there, he's got the grip hands on now, and with that we can give him his weapon. So he's got the size. They're kind of made out of bone here and look pretty cool, so that looks awesome. And I like how we have this one that has part of his walking cane that he picks up, which has the head design of a werewolf, and then the pentagram as well that kind of symbolizes him becoming the werewolf. And so that's pretty cool. It has that design as well. So again, adding all these little details into this. Of course, as I said, on the belt he does have a design to hold it, so he can slide these down in his belt, so he can store them on there. So he has that. But let's go and try and put these in his hands. And thankfully, at least with these turtle hands, they've made them more rubbery, so you can easily sort of get the hands there. It's still pretty difficult, especially with the hand with the walking cane design, because trying to get that in there is hard. But if you go like one finger by at a time, like just go in and around, sort of weave it through, you can get it in his hand. You just have to be careful. So there, Raphael has the two sides in his hands. And like I said, pretty difficult to get those in there, and you have to be careful because I feel both the bone end and the walking cane end could easily fall off just with the way they're designed. But you can work them in his hands. You just have to be careful with it. And then finally, he does also come with a bear trap. So part of the story is that hunters are trying to catch the werewolf, so they lay out bear traps, and he ends up getting caught in one. So we have a bear trap, which is pretty cool. You know, nice design. You got to just be careful with it so it doesn't break or anything. But you could try and put it down on his leg, so it's like he stepped into it, and it can be trapped on his leg there like that or something if you want. But I like how it has the chain design sort of hanging off of it and everything. So cool that they included that as well, just as an additional little accessory to go along with him. And of course, as before, we've had Raphael as a universal monster before, so we have this where he was Frankenstein. So I think it looks pretty cool. So we have Frankenstein and the werewolf now. Of course, we have them facing off against each other like they have, so pretty cool just to have Raphael in those two forms. So awesome to get him now as the werewolf. I think this looks pretty cool, and as usual, NECA did a good job with the design, incorporating both of them together. Well, that's going to be it for our two NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover with the Universal Monsters, where we had Leonardo as the creature from the Black Lagoon and Raphael as the Wolfman. Both of these are really cool. Probably two of my favorites that we've got so far of the Universal Monsters. Like I said, especially Leonardo, just because he's the creature, and creatures are my favorite Universal Monster. And then the Wolfman design on this Raphael looks really cool. I really like that a lot. I think what's cool about these is that they took a lot more of the creatures themselves and then incorporated the turtle stuff into it, as opposed to, at least to me, it seemed they had the turtles and then incorporated the monster. So it just seems in reverse. So I feel we get more of the monsters out of these two with the turtle flares added onto it. So I think that may be why I like these more. But two pretty cool figures. I really like both of these a lot, and awesome to add to our collection. But let me know what you thought, though, down in the comments. And if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a like. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.